Hello friends, my name is Rhonda and welcome to Simple Gifts Farmstead, where first and foremost we like to honor God and be ever grateful for his simple, wholesome, and natural gifts. Today I want to talk to you about some simple, wholesome, and natural things that maybe you could try at your own home and add this to a part of your routine. So yesterday I should have taken a video of this, but I spent part of my day straining my apple scraps that I created apple scrap vinegar with, and I'm going to show you the result of that. So this is the little container that I keep here in my kitchen for regular use, but I had bottled the rest of it in these larger gallons. And I keep them in my cellar for a number of things. So I use apple scrap vinegar for many things, whether it's in cooking, sometimes in canning, sometimes in fermenting things like pickles. And today I want to talk to you about a different use, which is creating a surface cleaner with just a few more additives beyond the apple scraps. So I'm going to take just a step back, and while you don't have the video portion of this, I'm going to describe it for you. So I take, every time that I use apples for something, now these are either organic apples or as local and natural as I can get, I scrub the outsides of the apples before I peel them, and then I keep the peeling and the cores, and I put them in jars and I cover it with water. I would probably fill about half of the jar with the peelings and the core. And leave the rest of it headspace there for water, and a teaspoon of sugar, which just helps speed the fermentation process. And then I put a coffee filter over the top with a rubber band around that, and that is primarily just to keep fruit flies and any kind of dust or anything like that out of the top. The jar needs to be able to breathe. I put it in a cool, dark place, and every few days I'll give it a little shake. And then I just let it wait for about 6 weeks. Could be longer than that. You can let it sit as long as you like. And so yesterday was the day that I decided I needed to take the next step and clean it off the shelf. I had had my apple scraps fermenting, creating the vinegar, since I believe it was about the end of October. So a couple of months. So again, I showed you the result of yesterday's. And I wanted to also show you a result of last fall that was earlier. And notice that it's a little bit darker than the other. So every batch is not exactly the same, but I believe as the longer that it ages, the slightly darker that it gets and the little more vinegary it gets. And so we use these for different things, and yes, I can smell the vinegar, but I really love the smell of the apples that is still there. So again, many uses, and today the use that I want to show you is another little fermentation process, and this is like a second use. So every time that we buy a bag of mandarin oranges or get oranges from Azure Standard, and I'll talk to you about that here shortly, when we peel the oranges, or any citrus, this could be lemon, this could be grapefruit, it doesn't really matter. We save those, we put them in a jar, and just like with the apple scraps, we put it about half full, and then I cover these with the apple scrap vinegar that I created before. So today's project is for me to be able to strain these, and then they're ready for the next process, which is to put it in a spray bottle and use it for surface cleaner. And I also like to add a bit of essential oil, and this is just my preference. You don't need to do this, but I like to add clove and sometimes a little bit of cinnamon or cassia. I also get my essential oils from Azure Standard. And again, I'll talk to you about that here in just a little bit. So I'm going to go about straining these. I am taking the lids off, and again, these sit for probably 4 to 6 weeks, or as long as I care to let them sit, because even a few weeks you are going to have the vinegar infused with the orange. So I take just a regular white cotton flour sack, and let me say there's an unlimited number of uses for these. I use these all the time. These are my favorite dish towels. I use them to strain my milk when I'm making butter. I use them for things like this. I use them for just plain old dish towels. So beneath here I have just a bowl. I have a strainer, and that's really just to hold on to the dishcloth. And I have the towel. You need to make sure you have a large enough bowl underneath that you have the space to be able to strain and not overflow your bowl. And the reason that I use the white cotton cloth is that it collects any little residue or sediment or anything like that that comes through to the bottom. I'm not going to squeeze this, I'm just going to let it drain. If I squeezed it, some of the sediment would actually come through, and so I'm just going to let it have a natural drain here. And then I'm going to put that in the sink. And this strained part I'm going to put in a clean jar. And this kind of a jar could be used as my refill jar, so that anytime that I want to refill my spray bottle, I have it on the ready. So I'm going to give my dish towel a rinse in cold water, just again to remove the sediment that ends up at the bottom of the jar as it is resting. Squeeze all of the water out. And then I'm going to repeat that process. So the orange peels that are left in the jar, I'm going to give to my chickens, because the chickens can eat these, and any of the ferments that are good for our own digestion are also great for your livestock, your pets. It's good to add a little apple cider vinegar even to your cat and dog's water, so that they have the aid in digestion. Again, I'm not going to squeeze this, I'm going to let it drain naturally. And then I'm just going to add these peels to my chicken bucket. I would add them to the pig bucket, but our pigs have gone to freezer camp and have returned from camp as delicious bacon and pork chops and roasts and sausage. So again, I'm going to add this to my jar, and this is my refill jar. Now I'm not going to add the essential oils in this jar. I'm going to do that in the spray bottle. Now let me say, there's nothing special about this spray bottle. It's one that I emptied something else that was food safe inside, and then I've just reused the bottle, and I use it to refill. You can use it for anything that you need a spray bottle need, but why go purchase a bottle when you've already purchased the bottle with whatever in it? I'm going to take a funnel. I'm going to do a little filling of the liquid. Because it's not a clear bottle, I can't see how full it is, so I'm being careful about the amount that I put in. And we're at the top, and another reason for the dish towel here is to soak up the spills. Okay, and it's a little bit more than I want it to be. I'm going to put just a little bit of that back in the bottle. And I'm going to add about 5 drops of clove oil. Clove's a little slow in coming out. It's a slightly thicker oil. And I'm going to use a few drops of the cassia, which is cinnamon. And that's it. You replace the top. Give it a little shake. And then it's ready to be a nice surface cleaner that has a natural antibacterial property. It smells wonderful. You'll love the freshening result of your kitchen, and that's it. So I hope you have learned a few things about adding some simple, wholesome, and natural routines into your own life. And I'm going to come back here to that Azure Standard bit. Azure Standard is a company that is located, I believe, in Oregon, and everything that they sell is simple, wholesome, and natural. And most of it is organic, and everything that's not organic is clean. You have the ability to buy in bulk, and you have the ability to also buy in smaller portions if you like, but you know that you're getting good, wholesome ingredients for the meals that you prepare for your family, or in the things that you use to clean your home, because you want a simple, wholesome, and natural home for your family. So Azure Standard allows folks like me to be able to share it with friends and then get a little bit of a benefit back. So the benefit, number one, is in my feeling good about letting you in on some products that I use myself, and things that you might be interested in as well. And then there's also a very small little credit that comes to my Azure account, so that when I purchase things, I get a tiny little portion back from that. So what do I buy from Azure Standard? I buy all of my bulk grains. So those would be hard white wheat, hard red wheat, soft white wheat, buckwheat, and maybe I'll talk about those in another video, but I grind my own grain to be able to bake my own bread and do my own pastries and that sort of thing, and it's not nearly as hard as you would think, and the health benefits are over the moon for that. I also buy bulk laundry detergent and dish liquid when I'm not making those myself, and it depends on how busy life is, but I can feel good about the product that I'm getting from Azure just as well as I feel good about the ones that I make here at home. Sometimes I buy bulk carrots when I can't grow enough of them. I've purchased apples from them. Again, my essential oils I get from Azure Standard. I get these jars, the half-gallon jars, but you can get those in any size from Azure. There's just an unlimited number of products. Well, maybe not unlimited, but more than 10,000. So I would invite you guys to check out Azure Standard, and if you use my link, again, there's a tiny little benefit for me, and you would go to azurestandard.com/start, and then a pop-up will appear, and you would put in my code, which is my name, Rhonda Donadue 1. And so there's a capital R HONDA, capital D ONADIEU, and the number 1 at the end. So I hope that you take just a minute to go check Azure Standard out, because I think you'll love it. And there are local drop points for once a month pickup. And if you have any other questions about that, please send me a message and I would be happy to share it for you. So that's all I have for you today. I hope you have a wonderful day today. Just thankful that you're here watching and that you're part of my life and my home. So have a wonderful day again, and we'll see you next time.